Hi, and welcome to Character Design Tips Part 1. Today I'm going to be drawing over somebody else's character design and giving them tips on different things that they could do to improve their drawing. In this video, I'm specifically going to be talking about pose, using reference, etc. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist in the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 20 years. Let's get started. I'm going to be talking about this particular drawing that Andrea asked me to talk about. It's actually one of the best pieces of work I've seen her do. It's amazing. She's improved so much over the time that I've known her. And she's been sending me her work and asking for tips, and I often give it. And I really enjoy how much she has improved. This is so much more solid than a lot of the things that she used to do. It's very amazing. I'm also very grateful that she actually sent the PSD file because then I could also see her process, which is really important for me to see how she's thinking, how she's working things out. So we're going to be talking about this specific character. We're going to first talk about improving this pose because she asked me to. I mean, it's an okay pose. I don't mind it. She has started asking some much more advanced questions when character designing, and I think it's very important that I should bring these things up. One of the things that she started bringing up is asking for backstory. How do I start doing backstory and things like that? And because the reason backstory is important when you're doing character design is because your character, the way they walk, the way they stand, the clothes they wear, the way they look, should tell the story of the character. So it's really important that you have a background story for your character so that you can tell the story through your pose, through the character itself. So that's really good that she's actually thinking about this sort of thing. Okay, so let's begin talking about this particular pose. I don't know the story behind this character actually, but she looks like a swashbuckler, so I'm going to assume that that's her character story. And if that's the case, then I think she did a good job. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to be talking about is getting the pose right by using reference and gesture. The idea here is to capture the essence of a pose. Leg position is important. This is why having good reference makes things easier. One of the questions that Andrea had was on on this character's legs. She was told by someone looking at her character design that the legs were too many degrees apart, like they were 90 degrees, like this knee and this knee were like 90 degrees when they really should be about 60. And yes, that is true. She wanted to know how she could fix this leg. I think that the better question would have been how to fix this one, because it's easier to fix this one. This one's fine. It's this one that maybe you would want to see a little bit more of the knee here, and you don't want to turn this leg profile. You would probably want to make this a little bit 3/4. So I'm going to be talking about all that stuff soon. But let's take a look at some reference that we could look that is in some way similar to this pose. And I did go online and I picked a bunch of photos. So we're going to take a look at them. And we're going to see if we can't find a pose to just straight up use, or Frankenstein a pose, or just use bits and pieces of a pose. Okay, so first photo I'm going to bring up is this one. Because this, to me, is the closest I've seen to this pose as I could find. And this one is helpful because the lingerie model here, you could actually see the anatomy, what's going on. Notice, and here's what I was talking about. This leg is straight. But notice this leg is 3/4. It's not in profile. It's actually 3/4. So her knee, you could actually see her knee. Her knee is not profile here. It is forward. Also, notice that this leg is straight, and these legs are kind of curved. I understand that you want to make a person look relaxed, but sometimes when you do this, it looks like they're they're crouching down, ready to like block somebody in a basketball game. This isn't what you want. You want the weight distribution. You want to be actually be standing. Again, here's another pose. This is a very strange pose because this person is, her feet are both pointing in this direction. It's a little bit more three-quarter. It's a little bit more profile. It's closer to profile. This one, her legs are akimbo, but both of them are straight again. See, you can see both these legs, and they're both three-quarter. You can't see the legs here, but the reason I picked this is because of these arms being relaxed. And here she is, her weight is on this leg here. And then we have this one, which is another one that was similar but not quite. And again, both legs are straight. You can see this leg is pretty straight on, but this one is three-quarter facing this way. Her body is definitely turned much more here. So I think in the end, the first pose that we've got is the best pose. But here's the thing. She's wearing a corset and she's wearing a corset. So we we'll be able to use some of these. Same again, corset here, which is handy. Not in this one. She's barely wearing anything here. But this was wearing pants, which is handy. All right. So we're going to use this one because this is the closest to the pose that we want. Except, of course, for the arm. Okay, so in order to fix this pose, in order to try to get this to be a little bit more dynamic, we're going to have to study how her weight distribution is in this drawing here. Now, before I actually start working specifically on this drawing, I'm going to bring up the other drawing that Andrea provided for me. This is actually the underdrawing to this drawing. And it is incredibly handy to be able to see where Andrea got the pose, what's going on, how does it match a real human person, etc. So now we could, because now that the clothes out of the way, we could actually compare even more closely this figure to this figure. Now all we're going to do today is try to capture the essence of this pose. We're not going to be doing construction. We're not going to be doing anatomy, all that stuff. All we want to do is capture the power of this pose. We want to reinterpret and capture the essence. So here we go. One of the things that we want to do is capture this thrust. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that her body is going here, and all the weight is distributed here, and this is the relaxed leg. So this is what I'm seeing when I look at this. I'm seeing this punch going, this energy, the energy is going here, and it's all coming down here. It's all kind of connecting. It's all converging in this spot right here. So that's what I'm going to try to capture here when I'm doing this pose. Is I'm going to be again trying to get this moving. We want this part of this body moving this way. The torso moving this way. This is extreme in the actual photo? No, it is not. That is why we're capturing the essence, not capturing the absolute perfect pose here. We're capturing the essence. So then we're coming down here. Bam. And notice I'm not breaking up this leg into the knee and the legs and all that stuff. That comes later. What we want right now is to capture this corner happening here, this pinch, and this stretch. This needs to be stretched out. We want to see that there is a pinch here and a stretch here. This is what we want. And then we have a relaxed leg. And I'm deliberately making this a converging leg, not a parallel, but more converging at the bottom here. We'll do simple feet for now. Okay. So notice this is happening. This is happening here. Boom. So this, if this is, the shoulders are coming down while this is coming up, and that's what's happening here too. This shoulder is a little bit higher than this one. Now this, because now we have a different pose, we might as well bring this one up again. And let's check where we actually want this pose, this hand here. It's just very simple, very flat graphic. And then this arm is doing basically the same thing. Notice that the space between here and the space between here is very different because I've pushed the pose further than the reference. I should probably move this up here so that I could more accurately represent what the figure that Andrea drew. But all of these lines are simple. The only time I broke up anything is right here. But even the hands are just flat graphic shapes. The face could just be a circle for now, or I could start squaring it off. Either way, it works. But the point here is I'm not going to have her looking off this way. I'm going to respect Andrea's drawing here. Have her look forward. Draw the hair shape. There. So that is it. That is all I'm going to do for now. This is perhaps the most important part to get right, is capturing this energy for this pose. It's very, very important because it's good to err in the side of over exaggerating, because what ends up happening is that eventually, as you start putting more and more detail on this basic gesture, on this basic pose, it's going to start losing more and more energy. So if you exaggerate it, as you put stuff on it, and you begin to lose the punch, the energy, it'll still be clear. So this is where I'm going to end this video. Next time I'm going to go in and I'm going to start talking about construction a little bit. I'm going to go over what Andrea did for her construction, and I'm going to give her some tips on a better way to approach some construction, something that's a little bit more simple, but it should help the pose and it should help the drawing overall. Okay, thank you so much for watching. If you found this video valuable, I would highly encourage you to go over to Patreon and become one of my patrons. There, you'll actually get the videos ahead of time. All my patrons get the videos long before anybody else. If you ask a question, I will answer it even though you're not a patron. But my patrons get first dibs on all the videos. They get access to them first. Often these videos I record months and months in advance, and they get to see them well ahead of everybody else. Also, there's other tiers of rewards there too, but for only $1 you get the videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. All right, bye.